Hey everyone, it's Chris, MTGO's Rex Start, and I am back for part 2 of this week's show and tell. We're going to take a look at a couple matches the Goblin Singleton list played. And first up is against Kumagoro's Snakes, which were previously the feature deck in last month's Singleton event. Kumagoro says he recently sold off a lot of his collection, but he held on to enough to play in all the Tribal Apocalypse and Modern events that he likes to play in, at least kept some core decks in place, including the Snakes, since he is a Snake fan, as I am. Not much action in the early game here. Goblin Ringleader gets Mystic Snaked, and Kuma looks like he's in pretty good shape here. But we're going to see quickly that the tables are certainly going to turn. Kuma's attack is going to take PK23 down to 7, but the Sharpshooter in off of the Vial, followed by a Matron here, which is going to search up Murderous Redcap, which is then going to get Vialed into play. Now that's going to do its 2 damage there, and then it is going to get potted away, which is going to untap the Sharpshooter so he can finish that one off. And the Resto Angel that gets brought in is going to seal the deal on the other snake. So Kuma's in a world of hurt here, and he manages to Urban Evolution, which is interesting inclusion in this deck, into a Lotus Cobra. However, the Sharpshooter is going to take that out. And then the Murderous Redcap gets potted away. And in the face of Kiki Jiki Restoration Angel, Kuma does not make PK go through with the balance of the combo there. So that does it for that match, the Kiki Jiki Restoration Angel combo, because Resto's going to untap Kiki, Kiki's going to copy the Angel, and yada yada like we talked about in part 1. So now we're going to take a look at mihahitlor's Mono Black Vampire list playing against PK. Here comes a Vampire Lacerator on turn 1. And the Lacerator is going to get bolted here in a second. And there it goes. And here comes a Viscera Seer. mihahitlor will mention in the comments that for some reason he thought Goblin Warchief was a 2-1, which I don't know if that's why he blocked with the Viscera Seer and then decided to scry with it. So Guldraw's Assassin comes out, a card that mihahitlor really likes, but of course it does have the drawback that he sometimes dumps some mana into it, and then it just gets killed. And here comes Murderous Redcap, yet another mihahitlor favorite, taking out the Goblin Warchief. And now Stoneforge Mystic is going to pull up the Thornbite Staff, with Goblin Bombardment in hand as a sack outlet. PK now draws the Goblin Matron, and so he knows that he can try to combo off here. Skinrender is going to take out Krenko. Murderous Redcap will crash in, putting PK back down to 20. Frog Tosser Banneret enters the fray, and that'll allow him to cast the Matron for 2 mana. And he Matrons for Kiki Jiki. mihahitlor will make a Vampire token and play Nocturnus, and he has a pretty good army here, but unfortunately it shan't be enough, as now, thanks to the Frog Tosser Banneret, we're going to be able to see the couple guys get sacrificed so he can play Kiki, and now he's going to start going off, makes a copy of Skirk Prospector, sacks it, which untaps Kiki because the Thornbite Staff lets him untap anytime a creature dies. So this allows him to make enough mana that he's going to be able to cast the Murderous Redcap and the Goblin Bombardment. But the Goblin Bombardment is going to allow him then to sacrifice these copies, which untaps Kiki Jiki, who can now make another copy of Murderous Redcap, and that will quickly deal enough damage to mihahitlor to finish him off. So the infinite combo takes it down. And thank you for joining me for the replays this week. And it was a very interesting deck to take a look at. And certainly the combo angle is one that I like in Singleton, since I think that there are a lot of aggro decks and mid-range decks that seem to be doing very well. And I may remark on this in the comments in the article, but I think if you could find an aggro deck that didn't rely as heavily on creature interactions, a combo deck that didn't rely as much on creature interactions, that was consistent enough to play in Singleton, I think you'd be very well positioned against some of these vampire mid-range decks. But as it is, this combo deck, reliant upon these fragile creatures as it was nevertheless had enough redundancy and everything else here to storm through the field fairly well until it hit up against the mid-range vampire list piloted by Nagarjuna in the finals. So anyways, thank you for joining me for this week's show and tell, and I will see you next week.